Hi, today I'll be talking about state legislature, division of subjects. So there are three lists in state union list, state list, concurrent list. State legislature is unicameral, means it has one house. It can be either unicameral with Vidhan Sabha or legislative assembly. Like 6 states also has bicameral, like they have 2 houses, that is the second house Vidhan Parishad or legislative council. Choice of uni or bicameral is on state. State legislature consists of governor, legislative assembly, that is Vidhan Sabha, legislative council, that is Vidhan Parishad. This is there in 6 states. Governor, under governor, that is legislative assembly and legislative council. So first let's see about governor. Position is the constitutional head of state, agent of the central government in a state, integral part of state legislature although he is not its member, responsible for maintaining relations between central government and state government. Governor can be given additional duty of the governor of neighboring states by the president. Appointment and tenure. Appointed by President of India. Term is 5 years. Before term ends, government can be dismissed. Resign on his own. Term can be extended. He can be transferred to other state. State government cannot remove the governor. Qualification required to be a governor. He must be a citizen of India. He must not be less than 35 years of age. He must not be a member of either House of Parliament or the state legislature. He must not hold any office of profit. Powers and functions of governor. The governor summons and propitiates the session of the state legislature. He can dissolve the legislative assembly. He addresses the members of the legislature and sends message. Without the government assent, no bill can become a law after it is passed by the legislature. In some cases, he can reverse the bill for the president assent. Money bills cannot be introduced in the state legislative assembly only with the permission of the governor. The governor must give his assent to money bills. The governor may nominate one member of the Anglo-Indian community to the legislative assembly if there are Anglo-Indian people in the state and they are not duly represented in the state legislature. He may also nominate 1/6 members of the legislative council. The governor makes the reports of various agencies placed on the floor of the state legislature. The annual budget of the state government is laid before the legislature with the approval of the governor. The governor has some discretionary powers which can be exercised by him independently. He may send any bill passed by the state legislature for the consideration of the president. He can appoint any member of the state legislature as chief minister if no political party secures absolute majority in the legislative assembly. He can send a report to the president if there is a failure of constitutional machinery in the state, on the basis of which the president can impose president's rule in the state during emergency. The governor of state can exercise his powers independently. So these were all the powers and functions. I think you all can learn like almost 4 or something like that from this, but depends on every school. State legislature consists of purely elected and partially nominated members. 1/6 of the total members are nominated by the governor and rest are elected. From the elected one, 1/3 elected by Zilla Parishad and municipalities, 1/3 by the legislative assembly, 1/12 graduates of the constituency, and 1/12 are by the teachers of secondary school and universities. Seats are reserved for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Tenure is 5 years and can be dissolved if chief minister gives advice to dissolve the assembly. Assembly is also dissolved by the president on the basis of report given to him by the governor regarding failure of constitutional machinery in the state. It can be also extended in case of emergency for a period of 1 year at a time. Elections must be held within 6 months after the emergency is lifted. Legislative Council is a permanent house. sessions. There are 2 sessions in a year, and the duration between these 2 sessions should not be more than 6 months. The governor can summon and purge the sessions. Qualifications: he must be a citizen of India. He must have completed the age of 25 years, and in case of Legislative Council, 30 years. He must not hold an office profit. He must possess qualifications laid down by the Parliament of India. He must not be unsound mind and should have been declared disqualified by the competent court. Then powers and functions of state legislature. So they are divided as legislative power, financial powers, control over executives, electoral functions, and constituent functions. Legislative powers frame laws on all matters included in the state list and the concurrent list. The limitations that they have is laws made by the state legislative on the subject in the concurrent list will be null and void if they conflict with the law of the state legislature. During an emergency, the Parliament of India may make laws on the state list. Financial powers: the legislature of state also controls the finances of the state. Without the legislative sanction, single paisa cannot be spent. The Legislative Assembly is supreme in state. Control over executive: the legislature exercises supervision and control over the ministers. Methods used to make ministers responsible is by questioning them, censure motion, amendments to the government policy, and vote of no confidence, and there are many other methods as well. Electoral function: election of President of India. Legislative Assembly elects the representative of the state to Rajya Sabha and 1/3 of the members of the Legislative Council of the state concerned. It also elects its speakers and deputy speakers to preside over the meetings of the Legislative Assembly, elects chairman and vice chairman from among its members to preside over the meeting of the council. Then there is also constituent functions. Last is the legislature in Goa. In Goa, there is unicameral. 8th June 1962, military rule was replaced by the civilian government. First meeting of this was on September 24, 1962. First assembly was held on January 9, 1964 in the Secretariat building. Presently, assembly meets in its own state legislative assembly complex in Porvorim, Bardez, Goa.